Welcome back to TheSadFan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad from the previous week. And we had a big one. We had a big one coming from on the back of last week's show. On the back of last week's show, with the playoffs finally happening. So you're pointing to that rented mascot, and I do mean rented, because how much do you guys pay every year to use that mascot from Disney?
Rented? Nothing anymore. I think that's settled.
Really? Is it
Disney
settled?
doesn't own the... Yeah, I'm pretty sure Disney doesn't own anything to it now.
They don't own the trouserless duck anymore?
No.
That's dumb.
Same with Mickey. They don't own Mickey anymore.
I think anyone can use him in copyright, right? But they still own the character.
I don't know how all that works. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure we're not paying shit to Disney anymore.
How does that make you feel, Wes? Like, tell us your real feelings.
I don't know. I mean, he's cute. He's a cute
mascot.
mascot.
Use them. Stop swallowing words. Say what you want to say. How does
Stop
it make
swallowing
you feel?
dick. Stop swallowing dick.
How do you feel about Disney?
As long as he's the cute little mascot he always is, I'm happy. Okay, as long as we don't go to RoboDuck. For anyone who remembers RoboDuck, that thing scarred children. Okay, as long as we don't go back to him, I'm happy.
I don't remember RoboDuck. Please go on a lengthy explanation on what RoboDuck was.
He was born out of an egg with smoke back in the 2000s, the early 2000s, when we were trying to be like hip and edgy with like the steel plate jerseys and shoulder pads. He's like this masculine, like muscle bound, like slender duck with like a little like sleek bill and like a pointy head, and
like a masculine like football playing duck, like all buff.
Yeah, all buff, like wearing a skin suit. Does
so his shirts were tighter than mine.
Yeah, he was doing like backflips and stuff like that, and he was born out of an egg. There was a giant egg that came out at halftime. It cracked open with smoke, and then he was like, "Wah!"
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
Do you think it's on YouTube? Because we're gonna have to find it.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's all on YouTube.
We're going to have to find it now.
That was their replacement. That was their supposed attempt at replacing the duck mascot.
So they can stop paying Disney?
And it gave children nightmares.
Were you one of those children?
Yes. It was terrible. It was an absolute flop.
So we'll have to put the link in the description of this episode so everyone can be terrified. Please, show your children. We want you to show your children this. Just like if you want your kids to have nightmares in the state of Tennessee, show them that Ohio State-Tennessee game. Because that's Oregon's next opponent, Ohio State, after what they did to Tennessee. And Wes, was that suitable for the eyes of youth?
No. At least the youth of Tennessee. What a terrible Christmas gift for the children of Tennessee. It's like getting coal in their stockings. Like, if my child misbehaves and I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm just going to make them watch that game on repeat.
Just on a loop? Over and over and over again? So
just the lowlights.
How do you feel then after that? Because Imailava was bad in that game, but he's had a couple bad games. Like, he does not show up when they play a great team, but neither does Will Rogers. And it was surprising to see him show up for that game for Ohio State. So how are you feeling as an Oregon fan going into this game against Ohio State, having to take on what appeared to be a juggernaut in the first playoff game?
So here's the thing. I was actually, like, before the playoff game started, I was rooting for Tennessee. And I think I kind of mentioned this on the last one. But after everything that happened in, like, the first, like, couple games, I was, like, full-on rooting for Ohio State. I was in, like, full-on F the SEC mode. Because Kirk Herbstreit was absolutely gargling SEC nuts during the Indiana game. I mean, they literally were saying, like, oh, the Big Ten shouldn't even have multiple teams in the playoff. Like, Indiana's terrible. That's one team, and Tennessee got beat worse than any other team. Like,
yeah, and we don't even have to talk about Penn State.
Texas
SMU,
struggled
right?
with. I mean, Texas, like, they beat Clemson, but it was close in the fourth quarter. Like, that was the closest game.
It was only close in the fourth quarter because Texas pulled up. Texas was spanking them.
It was never more than like a 2-score game, though.
Yeah, but it never looked close. If you watch that game, I watched that game. Texas owned Clemson. They did not. Clemson did not look good. Now the first quarter, I'll give you, like, not even the first quarter. The first 7 minutes of the first quarter, I was like, oh, Clemson might put up a fight, and then it was over like that. And I was like, oh, no, they won't.
And then the dumbest part was like in the fourth quarter when Ohio State was kicking that ass and they were up by like 40 points. They put a little diagram that said Ohio State versus SEC since 2000, and it was like 3-10. And if you actually like go back all time, they're like 24-24 versus the SEC. But I'm like, why are you doing this? Are you just like trying to like make it seem like not as bad for Tennessee? Like,
we need a new segment. It needs to be like
it just the amount that Kirk Herbstreit and whoever, I can't remember, is it Chris Fowler, just were gargling SEC nuts all game, all weekend, like just to kind of like validate trying to put in Alabama or Ole Miss. It was disgusting. And I was like, shut up, dude. I was like, no one even likes you anymore outside of like when you have your dog on TV. That's the only time that people like you is when you have your dog on TV.
If we go back into the early years of the show, you did quite a bit of Kirk Herbstreit caping up whenever I would lean into Kirk Herbstreit, because I've never liked Kirk Herbstreit as a commentator. One, he's vanilla. He was only recently not vanilla in his argument with Stephen A. Smith. Okay? That is the most outspoken.
Did you see Stephen A.'s rebuttal?
I haven't seen Stephen A.'s rebuttal, though.
Oh, he said, I don't care. Or wait, no, that was Shannon. Shannon said, I don't care if we're on the same network. He's like, there's not enough bosses to stop me from coming after you, bro. And then Stephen A was like, I did not stutter what I said. And he's like, what I said was blah, blah, blah. And he's like, don't misquote me, Kirk. And he says, Kirk, I'm not misquoting you. You misquoted me on national TV. Don't do that, Kirk.
Don't do it in that voice. You can just use your regular West voice. Don't do it in that voice again. But no, like, that was crazy to see. And that was the most personality I've seen out of Kirk Herbstreit. He's so vanilla. He's such an Ohio State homer that I've never liked Kirk Herbstreit.
That's the thing, though. He's not. He hates Ohio State now, so much that his youngest son is going to Michigan.
Wasn't the biggest thing that he was going to get Ryan Day fired?
No, he was calling First Take crazy for saying that Ryan Day should be fired. And then he called like half of the Ohio State fan base the lunatic fringe.
Yeah, I believe that. Because he's like I'm wholesome Kirk Herbstreit, and I love my Ohio. Like, I hate Kirk Herbstreit.
Like, if you actually pay attention, like, he was slamming Ohio State all game.
That was an uppercut from Wes. If you actually pay attention.
He was slamming Ohio State all game and just gargling SEC nuts, because that's what ESPN pays him to do. They pay him to be a shill for the SEC.
I mean, he gets a private jet. I mean, you give me a private jet and Kirk Herbstreit's paycheck, I'll probably be the best friend of Kirk Herbstreit. I'll be like, you know what?
You'll probably be the biggest Alabama fan ever.
I might turn into JD Vance and just turncoat. start saying, you know what? He was great.
Women.
He's always been great. I never said that other stuff you have on paper, the recording of me.
Deshaun Watson's the best.
If ESPN got me a private jet and paid me $500,000 a year, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Wes, you'd be a UW fan if ESPN said, "Hey, Wes, here's $500,000 in a private jet. You're a UW fan now." You would do it, because you know what? Anyone would, and it's just on TV. In the privacy of your own home, you could root for Oregon still. But if they're paying you $500,000 to go on TV and root for a team, you're damn well gonna do it. You're just gonna do it. Am I wrong?
I mean, probably not. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm a sellout, but
come on.
You said you are.
Everyone has a price. Remember the $1 Million Man on WWF? Remember him? Everybody's got their price. I hate the stupid ass question about would you take a punch from Mike Tyson for $50,000? Yes, I would absolutely do that. I would absolutely get punched in the face for $50,000. If it's cash untaxed, please hit me. Which side of the face? Okay, so that whole like,
which eyeball do you want black?
Yeah, I would never do. Yes, you would. It's just a matter of the amount you do it for. So stop your bullshit soapbox standing and understand what's the amount you would do it for. And no one's asking you to sacrifice your morals. They're saying, hey, we need you to root for the SEC. Here's whatever. Wes said it was more than $500,000 a year in a private jet. It's more than $500,000, Wes. Would you root for the SEC? Would you root for them?
I guess so, but I would hate myself every minute.
Would you look at what is the meme where you're looking at the mirror and you have the tear crying and you're pointing at the mirror? Do you hate yourself?
Okay, so his estimated salary between like getting paid for like prime Thursday night football and what ESPN pays him is around $18 million per year.
Yeah, you do it. You would do it. Sorry, like for at least 1 year, Wes, you could hate yourself for a year and then retire, make some good investments. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, man. That's just like, that's the real world, and nobody wants to admit it. But the world we absolutely live in is people will sell out.
Yeah. Yeah. So his estimated ESPN salary is $4 million per year, and then he earns even like another like $10 million from Amazon.
And he has a private jet by ESPN, so he can get from game to game. Just think about that.
Like, $18 million just for talking your head off like a dumbass.
And he sucks at it. Like, you mentioned something earlier that we're working to get viewers. We've been working for a couple years now to get viewers. This is we're in our third season, but we're better at it than him. He's not good at it. He just seems like he's good at it because he's been doing it for a long time. I listen to him, and I don't even watch College Game Day anymore. Pat McAfee is a raging loon. Like, I don't give a damn about Pat McAfee. Good for you. I'm glad that he calls people out. But I finally watched the thing you told me to watch. What's his face calling out Nick Saban, the comedian, calling out Nick Saban, Indiana Nick.
What was his name? The Notre Dame guy.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis.
Calling out. That was funny. Like, I'm here for that.
That was great.
I'm here for more of that. Great. Let's have more of that. But the goblin, the worshiping at the altar, even Pat does it. He just does it to, like, Aaron Rodgers and his audience. He does it to the right people. That's the only difference. Pat McAfee is pandering to his audience, and you cannot tell me he is not. He is absolutely pandering. 100%. I mean,
well, he doesn't gargle Aaron's nuts anymore because Aaron sucks.
He does. He pays him to be on the show. There's no more gargling than a cash transaction for sex. That's what he's paying for. Sorry, let's be real. Hey, Aaron, come spit sex at my listeners. Here's $1 million. All right? So, yes, he is still gargling Aaron despite what you want to believe. All right? If he's paying him every week, that is gargling. That's gargling to the max. You gargle.
You don't hear the bullshit anymore. It's not making headlines with Aaron being a dumbass anymore. Because I think Aaron Rodgers realized that nobody cares what he has to say anymore because he's a garbage quarterback and his career's over. So
a lot of times when I'm at the gym, Pat McAfee will come on while I'm at the gym over here in England because, like, the time difference, we'll get, like, the replay on Armed Forces Network, right?
Yeah.
And it says ayahuasca enthusiast in his headline, in his tagline. That's the gargling that he will sing to. And anyway, tell me about the Oregon-Ohio State game. How did we get here? Kirk Herbstreit, that's how we got here.
I mean, it's going to be a good game. I don't know what else to say because it's a rematch. And like you said, we're underdogs because all the idiots saw
the audience didn't know that. The audience didn't know that. Like I said in the pre-production meeting.
The audience knew that we're underdogs. I mean, people pay attention to Vegas. Come on, let's be real. And, I mean, I think it's like a 1 or 2 point dog. I mean, it's not much, but
2.5.
I think it's because people saw the game against Tennessee and they're like, oh, yeah, that's the best Ohio State's looked. And I don't know. I mean, we're going to be fully healthy, too. And so I fully expect it to be a really good game.
And it's at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, it's at the Rose Bowl. And we sold out all of our tickets a long time ago. We had 3 weeks to plan this. People have like 1 week for Ohio State. What a Rose Bowl
match, Wes. That's an
traditional
actual Rose Bowl.
Pac-12, Big Ten.
Yes, that is a Rose Bowl match. Do you wish you could go?
Yes, I do want to go.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm saving my money if we go to the national championship.
Are you going to go?
If we go, yeah. I'm planning on it.
Okay, don't put that out. Take it back. Suck it back. Don't put that. Suck it back. Wish I hadn't said that with that gesture. But you can't put that out to the universe yet. We gotta be quiet. We gotta be real sports fans for a minute. All right. Now we got Notre Dame, Georgia is the only other game I'm excited about. Texas, Arizona State. Okay. Boise State,
Actually,
Penn
I
State.
think that's going to be a close game, Texas, Arizona State.
Yeah, I'm just not excited.
I think that's going to be good. I think Cam Scadaboo is going to run up and down Texas.
You just like saying that name, huh? You like saying that name.
Scadaboo.
I mean, and the winner of that game takes on the winner of Penn State, Boise State?
Yes. Or no, the winner of that takes on the winner of Oregon, Ohio State.
Okay, Oregon, Ohio State. Man, Georgia's got such an easy path. Wait. That's not what West thinks, and that's not what Las Vegas thinks. This is basically an even money game. Notre Dame, Georgia, all right? And Notre Dame came out there and put it on Indiana. Like, put it on. We actually did talk about that last time we were on the show. But I think that that's a sign, and I think that if they can unleash their offense, Notre Dame can, and unleash Riley Leonard on Georgia, now's the time to do it. Because Georgia can't keep up if it becomes an air raid game, right? If they have to air out the ball, I don't think Gunnar Stockton is that guy that's going to make something happen for Georgia.
No. And, I mean, I think a lot of people just discount Notre Dame for having that terrible loss to Northern Illinois. I mean, because that was an atrocious loss. But, I mean, here's the facts. Notre Dame's a much better team than they were at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and if we really dig into it, Wes, Oregon almost lost to Boise week 2.
Yeah. Things have changed a lot in 3 months. Teams get better. Teams get worse.
Penn State
Georgia's
should be watching that Oregon film, though. I think this is the worst possible matchup.
I think Penn State has the easiest.
You're right.
They played SMU, and then now they get Boise State.
Yeah, and they got the right formula to stop Genty, but I hope they don't.
Yeah. We're going to see what Genty's made out of when he plays Penn State.
I mean, I hope he's made out of steel, because we saw what he was made of when he played against Oregon, the number 1 team in the nation, and he ran for over 200 yards. But Notre Dame, Georgia, why do you feel like this game is going to be better than, or more in favor of Notre Dame than others might be?
Well, I think Notre Dame has the momentum right now, and I think they just have more to play for, because the last 2 times they played the SEC, they got the crap kicked out of them in the playoffs. And I just think they're a better team this year. Like, I think they don't have Brian Kelly, which is a huge load off their backs, because Brian Kelly is a garbage human being and a terrible coach. And we're seeing that. I think they have a much better coach now. And I think that's going to be the key difference.
And I think much more attractive coach. I'm never going to let you skip over that. He's a very attractive man.
And I think Georgia's just like not gonna like have it in them. I don't think they're as fired up as Notre Dame is.
You don't?
No.
Like, Kirby Smart seems to be an insane person.
He is, but I think the players of Georgia Tech just think they're gonna walk all over them, and I think they're in for a rude awakening.
So we're not going to do picks till next week.
Okay.
I think that we pick the games then. I think we save it off. I know you like Arizona State. I know you like saying Scadaboo. You know how I feel about Franklin. All right? I'm going to root for the Pac-12 till the day it is no longer remembered, which looks like it's far off based on what we saw this season. It looks like they're going to keep adding teams and rebuild that pack, which I hope they do. I really hope they do that. And Washington State even looked good for a while. They had the number 1 quarterback in the transfer portal in this year. So we'll see what happens. And then Notre Dame, Georgia should be a very fun game. So let's just take a look. What game is getting the late night treatment as far as those games are concerned? Is it going to be Ohio State, Oregon, or Notre Dame, Georgia?
Well, Rose Bowl always has the afternoon slot because they like the sunset. Like, Rose Bowl contracts it that they always have that specific time zone, because they like the first half to be in the sun, and then the sunset around halftime, and then you get the really pretty sunset in LA.
The views.
Yeah, and then I think the Sugar Bowl is probably the late one. And so that's probably going to be Georgia Notre Dame, pretty sure.
We've got the 6 p.m. game on my side of the world. So the early game is Texas, Arizona State.
Yep.
Then we've got Oregon against Ohio State. Then Penn State, Boise State. Notre Dame, Georgia's getting the night treatment.
Okay. Oh, wait. No, Penn State, Boise State that's the night game on New Year's Eve here, local.
Oh, it's on 12:30 a.m. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a night game.
Yeah.
I was like, it's on at midnight 30 here on New Year's. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be up to watch it.
Yeah, Texas Arizona State's the early game. Ohio State Oregon's the afternoon game, and then we got Notre Dame Georgia the night game.
So we'll see what happens.
Crazy things happen tonight.
All right, now we had the Christmas games this year for the NFL, Wes, and there was no way for them to predict what happened.
Both of those were terrible. Terrible games. Terrible.
But on paper, going into it, they look like really good games. Steelers, Chiefs, Texans against the Ravens. Like, these look like really good games.
I was, like, really interested in, like, both of those games. And then, like, I kind of lost, like, I lost track of time, like, halfway through. And I was like, oh, yeah, the Chiefs game is on. And then I looked on my phone, and it was blowout. I was like, yeah, well, I'm, like, already really drunk. I'm just going to keep drinking with, like, family and stuff and not even worry about it. And then same thing with the other one. I was like, oh, yeah, the Texans game is going on. I was like, oh, that's an even bigger blowout. Never mind. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing.
I mean, you're not wrong, but we had that halftime show. What do you think of Beyoncé?
Beyoncé was fire. I'm like, she always puts on a good show. I'm not the biggest fan of her music, but she puts on a hell of a show. And she had Post Malone and Shabuzi.
Yeah.
And Blue Ivy. That was a good lineup. That was like pretty much Super Bowl halftime show worthy.
That's what I thought too. I thought the same thing. I was like, this should be and then I thought to myself, why don't more music artists, and I don't know the logistics behind this, but if you're touring in a city, why not volunteer to do like the halftime show to get people to your concert that night and just do like a quick halftime show? Like, that would be like, I don't get it. Why doesn't it have more?
They should do halftime shows more. I mean, you don't want to do it in Seattle because it's raining and it sucks, but...
I don't know. Tell that to Prince. He performed in the rain of the Super Bowl, and it's one of the best Super Bowl halftime shows of all time.
That's true. Lil Wayne. Throw in Lil Wayne. Why not?
You know what's funny about that, Wes, is people are kind of shocked that Kendrick Lamar is this year's halftime show for the Super Bowl and not Lil Wayne because it's in New Orleans.
Is Lil Wayne from New Orleans?
Yes, he is.
I didn't know that. I don't know where these people are from.
Famously from New Orleans, Wes.
Oh,
but
you
what's
learn
crazy
something new every day.
I think he's a Packers fan, if I'm not mistaken.
He's also a Buffaloes fan.
Is he?
He was. Did you not see him at the Heisman ceremony?
Oh, well, that might be a Dion thing.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think he's always been a Buffaloes fan.
Yeah, he's a Travis Walker fan, though. I mean, he got invited to the Heisman ceremony. That was so weird.
Hunter.
I was like...
Travis Hunter. Who's Travis Walker?
Oh, Travis Hunter. I don't know.
Who is Travis Walker?
I don't know.
I don't know Hunter. Who that is. Who's that person?
I don't know either. But...
Where did you get Walker? Like, I say names wrong a lot. I'm not putting you on the spot. But I just need to know who is Travis Walker. That's got to be somebody.
I don't know. But, yeah. Yeah, it was really weird. I was like, is that Lil Wayne? I was like, what the hell is Lil Wayne doing at the Heisman? I was like, that's so weird.
That's all I want you to do with the halftime show. What's that person doing at the halftime show? What is
I told you, Lil Wayne. I told you. Throw Lil Wayne in the mix.
Was that Maroon 5 for us? Was that Maroon 5?
Ooh, Maroon 5 would be good.
They already did one. They did one already. You don't remember? Yes.
I don't remember.
And everybody was like, how come Adam Levine can show his nipples on TV at the Super Bowl when Janet Jackson gets... Like, the same way, like, Justin Timberlake did one. Britney Spears and NSYNC did one with Aerosmith and Nelly. So you got to dig deep into your bag of tricks. You know what you would like? You would like to see Chamillionaire. Remember that? You used to rock Chamillionaire in the dorms.
The other one. God, why can't I remember his name right now? He did... He's also the actor.
Childish Gambino?
Yeah, Childish Gambino.
Donald Glover?
Yeah, Donald Glover.
I love him, by the way. I think he's one of the most talented humans on earth.
He's very talented.
All right, let me pull Wes off this hot seat. Here, the hot seat's getting thrown away, okay? Yes, Wes, you're right. These games were terrible. Beyoncé was amazing. Shabuzi was great. Post Malone was great. The performance was fantastic. The games were terrible, but we did get one thing out of this. The number one seed. And they finally looked like the number one seed. The Chiefs have not looked like that all year long. They looked
trash all year. They barely won every game by the skin of their teeth and the help of the Zebras.
Yeah, I mean, okay, watching this game, There was some of that there too. Some of that I was like, come on, man. Like this is a little ridiculous. Like, you're calling some BS. And you see it. They're the new Patriots, right?
They're the biggest benefit of the referees this season by far. They've had fewest amount of calls called against them compared to like the highest amount of calls called for them.
So let's go through this though. All right. So you've got Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Texans.
Wait, did the Ravens
Steelers.
lock up the division?
No.
Okay.
Pittsburgh Steelers, and then it looks like it's either going to be the Chargers or the Denver Broncos. You're probably right.
I think it's going to be both.
I don't want it to be, because I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be more fun.
Miracle NFL playoff scenarios. Yeah, they basically they need like 50 million things. I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty bleak. It's pretty bleak.
Everybody has to lose?
Yeah,
every
pretty
game?
much. What they need to get to the playoffs, they need to win out. They need the Broncos to lose out. They need the Colts to lose one more game and the Dolphins to lose one more game.
And then they can make it?
Yep.
But I think they need the Broncos and the Colts and the Chargers to lose out too. Yeah, so it's few and far. But I just think they'd be the more fun team. You don't think they'd be the more fun team? Broncos are terrible to watch. Broncos are so boring to watch. Actually, so are the Chargers. Chargers are boring to watch too.
Broncos are more fun to watch than the Chargers. I'll tell you that.
I just disagree. We're going to have to disagree to disagree. I disagree. Like, it's bad.
I disagree.
So anyway, do the Chiefs have a road back to the Super Bowl now that they got home field?
I mean, the road's literally paved for them.
You think?
Yeah, they literally had the NFL and the referees come pave it
Stop.
with some really nice pavement, man. That's the greatest pavement. They got really nice pavement for them. Okay, it's a really short road. It's really nice, paved, smooth, super quiet road.
After what Buffalo did to Detroit, you don't think Buffalo can do that to Kansas City?
Oh, they absolutely can. But I'm just telling you that the Chiefs have the easiest road because they have the number 1 seed.
The Ravens can also put up a fight. I don't think anyone else stands a chance. But I think the top of that division is competitive. I think Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore are competitive.
Yeah.
No one else, though. Do you agree with that? Like, no one else stands a chance.
Definitely not the Texans. Definitely not the Texans.
Okay.
I mean,
Pittsburgh?
I think no, not with Russell Wilson.
Okay, that's it. The other ones are just going to slide in by the skin of their teeth.
I think the Chargers have a chance.
Why?
I don't think the Broncos have a chance this year.
Why?
But I think the Chargers do.
With Ladd McConkey as their top receiver?
They've put up great fights against the Chiefs both times.
Yeah, but they might play the Bills.
Harbaugh. It's Jim frickin' Harbaugh.
They might play
I never
the Bills
count him out.
Or the
I never
Ravens.
count that guy out.
Well, he might play
that
John frickin' Harbaugh. You're not going to budge, huh? You're saying the Chargers have a chance.
The Chargers have a chance.
You're Lloyd Christmas on this. You're telling me there's a chance.
There is a chance.
All right. So let's go down to the NFC. And I know you and I both have said already that we want to see Detroit against Buffalo. That's what we want to see.
I don't understand how the NFC North is as good as it is. That is insane. I don't care if you have Chicago in there. Those 3 teams have the most wins out of any division in NFL history already.
Well, right now, okay, tell me the Seahawks playoff.
Okay.
Tell me. Go ahead. You've been waiting.
So here's the funny thing. Like, even if we lose, or even if the Rams lose to the Cardinals, that doesn't really affect anything now. Pretty much all it matters is we need to beat the Rams next week. And then I think the strength so if they beat the Cardinals and we beat the Rams, then it's strength of victory ends up being the tiebreaker.
And the Seahawks got it?
Not right now. We need some things to happen.
What is strength of victory?
Basically the record of the opponents you beat.
That's stupid.
I know.
That's stupid.
Basically who's beat the better teams.
That's so the BCS.
I don't know. Yeah, it's
the
silly.
The computer's gonna plug in everything. All right, so here's your thing. You got the Lions, the Eagles.
Okay, one more thing though. I think this year is such a good example of why division winners shouldn't automatically have home games.
Because the Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Falcons should not be hosting a home game over the Lions or Vikings.
Tampa could still get it.
Yeah, that's what I said. And there's no way the Falcons or the Buccaneers should host a home game over the Lions or Vikings.
I like Tampa. Is that weird? I like Tampa.
Lions and Vikings are two of the best teams right now, and it's criminal.
I agree. I agree,
but has to go on the road.
But I like Tampa. I like Tampa. They beat Detroit.
They're not that great.
But they beat Detroit.
They're not that great right now.
You're being mean, man. You're a Baker hater. You might as well
I like Baker.
sign Deshaun Watson to a contract.
But he can't play all the positions.
That's fair. It's their defense, man. It's their defense has been bad. And their head coach is a defensive guy. Todd Bowles is a defensive guy.
Falcons got rid of their baggage with Cousins.
You think he was baggage?
Oh yeah, he sucks this year. And now they got Penix. Penix looks pretty good.
And I think they cut him, right? They cut Cousins.
There's been rumors, but it hasn't. There's been rumors that they're going to cut him in the offseason. Well, so here's the thing. I'd be so pissed if I was Penix. Did you see his first game? He had an interception, and it's because Kyle Pitts.
Oh, I did. He dropped it. He didn't
just drop it. He caught it, and then he tossed it to the cornerback. He just was like, "Oh, here you go, bro." Yeah. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
I did see that. You're right.
I did. That is so bad. It was
just
in your
you
hands.
reminding me. You reminded me. Yes, I 100% saw exactly. What you're
sometimes interceptions should just not count against the quarterback. That should be like a receiver. That should be like a receiver error or something.
We have got to stop getting off topic. But now you got me on another one. I want pass interference yardage as a fantasy stat. I don't think it's fair that my receiver gets abused downfield and I don't get those points, man. How do you feel? Okay. Is that a slippery slope?
I mean, I don't think that's a bad... But sometimes they wouldn't have caught it. It's hard to tell.
But
where'd
still,
you go? It is a slippery slope
because of the wide receiver. Slope. All right, so the Lions aren't a shoo-in anymore. The Eagles look really good.
The Eagles do look really good. But, I mean, and Detroit has so many people on IR. It's insane.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for them.
Their whole team's injured right now.
I don't see them getting it to the Super Bowl right now. Yeah, and Love looks really good. Vikings look really good. But here's the thing:
I think
the Seahawks The Seahawks went toe to toe with the Vikings last week, and then we go toe to toe with freaking Bears. Are you kidding me?
But I think you're leaving out Washington Commanders, man. The Commanders can upset somebody. I think. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they can upset somebody.
Yeah, I can see it too.
Man,
man. Okay, I got to talk about the Seahawks game because that was such a terrible game.
I really have to talk about. Go ahead.
That was such a bad game, and it was just it was close. So I guess that's better than the Christmas games in that regards. But man, that was so bad. If you watched our game against the Jets, that was who wants to lose the most. We were just trying to throw it away. Neither team even cared. They were just oh, here's the ball. Here you go. Here's a turnover. This one was just punt central. Punt city, sack city. It was so bad. And Caleb Williams, I'm sorry. I wanted to give him a chance, but he sucks. He just runs into sacks. He's a sack master. That guy loves getting sacked.
Attitude.
He is. He's a baby.
His team has to hate him, right?
He has
they have
terrible.
They have to hate him.
He has terrible pocket presence, worse than Geno Smith. I mean, that guy was running into sacks left and right that he shouldn't have been getting sacked on. He was just oh, hey, I want a hug, bro. He was oh, why are you tackling me?
That game looks like something that you would see in the waiting room of the DMV for them to make you more miserable that you're in the waiting room of the DMV.
I hated that game. I hated myself for watching it. I was why am I watching this game?
When you got up off the couch after watching the game, did you feel gross?
I did, and I felt I hated the Seahawks even more. I was we do not deserve the playoffs. Honestly, I don't want us to go to the playoffs because we're just going to get our asses kicked.
Do you know what an expansion city on Madden is? Do you know what one of the expansion cities on Madden is?
What?
If you want to move a team? Portland.
Yeah. Can we move to Portland?
You would love that. You would love that. You would love that because you could root for them from afar.
It's just that was such a bad game. It just left such a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm this is such a terrible team. Why are we having trouble?
So we've got a lot of playoff
the Bears. Nobody could even get a first down. There was 20 million punts that game.
We got a big weekend, and not a lot's going to be settled, Wes, because they're still 13-2 in the Lions, so no home field in that division yet. Okay, because they could both win. It's going to be decided probably week 17, unless the Lions win and the Eagles lose. You're right about the Vikings. The Vikings have been one of the best teams in the NFL. But are they actually one of the best teams in the NFL? Like, do you want to put all of your all of your money on a Sam Darnold quarterback team? I don't.
Like, it's at that point where you're like, you just might. Like, what's going on?
So is that someone? So remember, he's on a 1 year, I believe, in Minnesota. Is that someone? Think about. I'm going to phrase it to you in this.
Oh, they're extending him. They're extending him
over JJ McCarthy.
I forgot. I forgot that they picked up JJ McCarthy.
And JJ McCarthy, before he tore his meniscus, he looked really good before he tore his meniscus.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, do they just trade him for, like, a good draft pick or something like that?
JJ? You think they get rid of JJ and extend Darnold?
Do they trade Sam?
No, Sam is, I think, on a 1 year, dude.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe they extend him and then try to trade him. I don't know.
So let me get this scenario out so we could get to the end of this. Do you like Sam Darnold enough right now where if the Vikings release him, he gets signed by the Seahawks to replace Geno Smith? You're excited?
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably be more excited about like other quarterbacks, but I think he's a step up from Geno. I mean, we'll see how he does, but I mean, maybe it's just our coaching sucks.
Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's been
good. He's so good.
He's been really good this year. He took a huge step up. Huge step up in his sophomore year, right? He was not good his rookie year. He wasn't.
Well, he just didn't get as many targets, I think.
He just wasn't good, man. He dropped the ball a lot, bro. Remember, he dropped the ball a lot. He was a dropaholic. And now he looks really good. And it's nice because Tyler Lockett gets to go out gracefully. He's been a great wide receiver for the Seahawks for a very long time. And with Jackson Smith-Njigba stepping up and DK Metcalf wanting to just knock people's heads off instead of catching the ball, like
we really need him because honestly, I'm not sure if I see a future for DK with the Seahawks.
Really?
Yeah.
You think they're going to get rid of him?
Well, I feel like he's been so lazy. Like in like these last few games, he's been running really lazy routes. He's been like stopping his routes like halfway through if he doesn't think the ball's coming to him, and like if something happens, like he's not chasing a defender. If it's intercepted, he just like kind of gives up on plays. And I'm not sure if like maybe like that's just maybe he just doesn't like Geno. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe he's not happy.
Yeah, I don't think he's happy.
Well, you know who is happy? All the fans of the show, because this was a great show today, and you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
And a Happy New Year if we don't get the show New Year's Eve. We're going to shoot for it, though. We're going to shoot for the show New Year's Eve. But we let Wes get the Seahawks hate off his chest. At this point, I don't even think he wants. I don't even think he wants them to make the playoffs.
No,
but I don't think that matches his hatred of the Rams. So he still wants them to beat the Rams while not making the playoffs somehow. So here we are. Thank you so much for joining us each and every week, and we'll see you next week at the Sad Fan.